Yo, what's good, YouTube? It's your boy James the Go in the Flesh, and as I can read from the title, this is sort of a story time, just me yapping. But basically, I want to talk to y'all about how basketball, yeah, a little sport basketball. Y'all seen the clips, y'all seen the videos. I'm actually pretty good at it. Basketball, and most importantly, how Jesus saved my life. So, to start this video, I want to say I've been Christian my whole life. For y'all that don't know me, I got like 100 new subs, which I'm very grateful for. The people that don't know me, I am Christian, right? Worshiper at church, and I love God. I love God, but throughout my life, I think I cared more about the world, right? More about the world, more about the attention in the world than I cared about God or Jesus in itself, right? I would go to church, I would play the instruments at church, but I didn't care about it. But come 2022, I was getting better at basketball, right? Come 2022, I was getting better at basketball. And everything I did in the past, for some reason, everything I did in the past, in 2021, 2020, 2019, everything just all started coming to my mind. And I fell in a state of depression when 2022 hit. I fell in a state of depression. Not just that, but I also got COVID for the third time. This is one thing that you're supposed to know. If you got COVID more than 3 times back in the day, you're gonna die, right? That was like the thing. That's what the doctors always said. Like, if you got COVID 3 times or more, basically dead, right? And I kind of felt it because like I was quarantined for 10 days, and every day I was like waking up like at 2 or 3 a.m. barely breathing. So like, it was bad. So think about it. 2022, beginning of the year, I was going through it like crazy, like just mentally, and then I don't know where I got hit with COVID, and I'm stuck in my room going through the same issues, stuck in my room, and now I'm fighting for my life every night. It was horrible. And I remember I put on the wall, get closer to Jesus. 2022, that's my goal, right? But whenever you do goals like that, sometimes you don't do them because you actually want to do it, rather because you just want to go, right? I just wanted something on the board. Anyway, so as I'm by myself isolated, I start praying, I start worshiping, and then towards the end of the COVID stage, I would go out, like whenever my parents were home, I would leave the house, go to the basketball court, and when I tell y'all, I would sit by myself for a good 3-4 hours just shooting the ball. We had a court outside, right? So just shooting the basketball, worshiping, crying my butt off, like, God, Jesus, like, help me get through this whole thing. Help me get through this whole thing. I know my life has been worthless because maybe I'm doing good physically, this and that, but realistically, I'm not fulfilling my purpose. I'm not fulfilling my purpose because at that point, I was 19, 20 years old, and I'm living for the world at its most, right? I already know everything about church. I already know everything about God. I know everything that's needed to follow God's footsteps. Yet I was living for the world, and I knew that the reason why I was in my room depressed and going through everything I'm going through was because the enemy knew my breakthrough was coming. I remember before this all happened, my mom came to my room. She said, you know what? God told me he has a big purpose for you, but you're not ready. You're not ready. That same day she told me that. This is before the isolation state. The same day she told me that, I got in an accident, a car crash, and I knew that's when I wrote down, like, hey, it's time to get closer to God. And this hit me, and I would spend hours, even after I got out of COVID, I was still somewhat sick. I would go every single day by myself for 2-3 hours, shooting the ball, shooting the basketball, and just praying and worshiping and praising. And I felt a new fire. I felt something different that I've never felt before in my life. I've been Christian for 10 years, and I never felt this relationship with God that I had at that moment. And after that, the next few months, I started reading the Word every day. I made my own Bible study chat. You can join it, by the way. Comment down below. I made my own Bible study chat, and everything just went up, right? But here's the crazy thing. Everything went up. I was still doing the same routine. I would go play basketball by myself for a good hour or two, just put some music on it, just praise and worship. And believe it or not, you may think like, oh, everything was amazing, but no. Whenever I would get closer to God, my life would get tougher. My life would get tougher because one thing I've learned, y'all, is that the closer you want to get to God, the harder life gets, because the enemy does not want you to reach that next level. with all that being said, y'all, that's all I have for y'all. This is a little testimony of how I became who I am, how I matured, right? And I still got a lot of room to grow, but I feel like that depression state, that isolation state really saved my life, because I don't know where I would go, because I was in a wrong path. I was in a really wrong path. And because COVID hit me, and because there's a thing called basketball, and of course because we have a living God, I'm here today. All that being said, y'all, do me a favor, subscribe.
Boom. Shambles.